Awesome. So thanks so many people for being here. Going to go through and say hi to everyone in just a moment. Then I will introduce Nicole and hand things over to her. We are super excited to have her. Very lucky to have her here also. So I'll just start rolling through everyone. Ajana, what's going on, Ajana? I hope I said that correctly. Alyssa, Aru, Annalise, what's up? Bailey, Becky, Brad, what's going on, Brad? Bree, Dara, Hans, what's up, Hans? Jennifer's iPhone, what is going on? Danielle is joining in. Hello, Danielle. Let's see. We have Kathleen, Lauren, Lindsay, Lydia. Lydia, I think you were the first one here. Welcome. Mary Ellen, what's going on? Melissa, hey, Melissa, what's up? Sylvia, Wilma, what's up, everyone? We got some more people rolling in, so I'm excited to see big group in here. So tonight, really excited for today. We have Nicole Gregory here with us. Nicole has been a member of the clubhouse for 2.5 years, is just a total badass, has been crushing things on her journey. And she works in the psychiatric field. She is a psychiatric rehab coordinator. Nicole, how long have you been in the field?
I've been in the field for, well, recently for about 4 years and 4.5 years.
Awesome. Huge, huge. Yeah. And Nicole has earned her bachelor's degree in psychology, working on a master's program in counseling as well. So just working hard and killing it over there. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and then I'm going to kind of hand the mic over to Nicole and let her get started with us. But thank you all again for being here, of course. And we are really excited to share this with you today. So we should be good to go here. I'll get everything set up. And we'll start at the beginning, not the end. That's usually the best way to do it. So we are good to go.
Hi, guys. It's so nice to see you all. I'm so glad you came today. And to be completely honest with you, I'm super excited about this because I have a lot of passion for mental health, fitness, all of that above. As Mary said, I'm going to school to get my clinical mental health counseling degree, and I'm about halfway through. Um, I've also been working in the field, like she said, for 4.5 years, and I love it. I love working with the clients. It's so much fun. Um, you know, you really got to take into account how much everybody in this world has to give to each other. And even those who struggle with severe mental illness have so much to give back in their own way. So it's pretty amazing, actually. Um, First, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and about some of the struggles that I've had. Um, let's see, about how long ago was it? About recently, I've had a lot of struggles with my mental health, to be honest. I kind of fell off the health and fitness wagon slightly. Not a ton. I still had, was doing one workout or whatever a week when I was struggling, but it was a really difficult time for me. And I really had no idea how I got to that point. 7, 8 years ago, I was actually diagnosed with mental illness. I'm not going to go into what it is. If you guys want to PM me, I would be more than happy to explain it all. But to be honest, it's just a small part of me. It's not all of me. So there's no point for me to just focus on that because it's not that big of a deal, honestly. You can learn how to do life even with those kind of struggles. So that definitely does not define me. On top of that, I actually joined the clubhouse almost 2.5 years ago. And I actually just dove in. I was terrified to join the clubhouse because my whole life I've struggled with confidence. I definitely wasn't someone that was like out there and excited about different things. I was like way reserved, super nervous, the type of person that would stand in the back of the room, be really anxious about meeting new people, even though I'm definitely not an introvert. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of the spectrum, I would say. But I struggle with my confidence. My whole life, I've spent a lot of time thinking that I wasn't good enough, and struggled with that. And I didn't really know where it came from to be honest with you, my parents are great parents. My dad actually is a psychologist, so I, have no clue where that kind of stuff came from until recently when I went through some counseling myself. First, I'm going to talk a bit about my struggles. They were like going to, all those kind of things where I was just really anxious and nervous and scared and never felt good enough. My brother was like huge into sports and he was super awesome. And no matter what he joined or did, he would totally excel. So I was always kind of comparing myself to him. I was thinking my parents like him better, or, I always had that in my head that I wasn't good enough, which is a horrible place to be. The clubhouse, though, completely improved my self confidence, my self esteem. Fitness in general has just been huge for me. You are able to set goals, and it's so important to realize that your fitness journey has a lot to do with your mental health. When you are sitting there struggling with your confidence, and it's hard to get through the day, it's hard to go ahead and focus on fitness and nutrition. And fitness and nutrition is a lot. It's a lot of things that you need to do to get those things down. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, it's sometimes really hard to get going on that and to be strong with that. And it's very easy to have setbacks when your mental health is not good. Joining the clubhouse, like I said, improved my self-esteem tenfold. In July 2022, I was actually a clubhouse member of the month, team member of the month.
Yeah.
And when I was asked to be that, it was kind of funny because right before it happened, like when I joined the clubhouse, I saw everyone else being teammate, not everyone else, but some people being picked for teammate of the month. I'm like, man, that would be really cool to be that. And I kind of visualized myself being it. So when Eric told me that I was super stoked, super excited. I felt really good about myself. It was like a turning point in my confidence. And I just like was over the top elated, sharing it with my family, sharing it with my friends, because here, look me, someone who thought I stunk at physical fitness, was being kind of told that I was decent at it. So that really helped build my confidence. It helped me feel great about myself. And not, just knowing that I could do this, I could be in the fitness world, I could, meet people. And me throwing myself into the clubhouse, like I said, was extremely nerve-wracking. And I know it was scary for all of you, especially who are a little, struggling with any confidence issues, to go ahead and post those form videos and to do those kind of things. But I actually went in and I didn't think twice about it. I just started posting, and that's totally outside of my personality. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to kind of lean into my hard. And that's what I did. And that just built tons of confidence, because when you're able to do your hard things, it just kind of makes you feel really good about yourself. Let's say, in addition to that, it actually improved my mental health. And it's really important in counseling. I'm going to talk a little bit about counseling and mental health because recently I have gone ahead and found a counselor. So first I'm going to talk about the benefits of therapy.
There you go.
Thank you. So some of the benefits of therapy and are understanding yourself. When you understand yourself, when you understand why you do the things you do, it can definitely improve your self-esteem, help you feel better about yourself. It can actually help you change the way you think. You become a stronger version of yourself. My counselor likes to talk about how we all have trauma. Some of us have big trauma, like big major things that have happened, people that have really been hurt, in really traumatic ways. I won't even go into that because I don't want to trigger anybody that's had those struggles. Then he talks about how people have small trauma. Small trauma could be like, for me, it was when I was a kid. I was probably like 10 years old. I had like this awesome friend that lived up the street from me. Then there was a third friend that came into the picture and I was kind of cast to the side. So things like that, the way I felt about myself then, are small traumas, and they kind of all add up in your life. But going through therapy, you can really heal. When you find the right therapist, you can heal those kind of traumas to improve your mental health. It gives you the power to move forward in life. So you might go from really struggling with different things, struggling to remain positive, and all of a sudden you have that confidence and you're able to tackle life's challenges with gusto and bravo, and you just kind of go forward. So my current therapist is really, really awesome. He's a really good therapist, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about what you want to see in a good therapist.
Yeah, and I love what you said, Nicole, about like the small traumas, because I think it's so easy to overlook those and to look back at little things in life like that and just be like, that wasn't that big of a deal. Like I was just a kid. And, I know in my own therapy, a lot of that was explored also. So I think that's
Mhm.
really like so true. Like, because I struggled with a lot of anxiety as a kid. Like I cried every day in school from like
Yep.
kindergarten through fifth grade, like every day, not just like sometimes. Like I just didn't like being there. I was afraid of the other kids. I didn't like the teachers. And like it kind of went back to an experience I had with my kindergarten teacher that seemed really small, but like when you explore that stuff, like that's really when the healing begins. So I love that part that you shared about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely do, go, you kind of get through that. And but in order to get through that, you really have to find a good counselor, because I'll be honest with you, I had some negative experiences. I'll get into that in a little bit, but I'll first, want to go through what a good therapist is all about. First, they're going to be empathetic. A good counselor is going to sit there, they're going to listen to you. They might have biases, but they're going to check those at the door. Um, all of this stuff I really learned in my school, as far as good characteristics of a good therapist. I had been exposed to like 3 different therapists before this one, and I really didn't understand what I should be looking for in a therapist. I had no clue, and turns out that I had some pretty kind of not so great experiences. They had their own way of doing things. It doesn't mean they were bad, they just were not connected with me and the way I needed to help pull things out. They're going to meet you where you're at. They're not going to put pressure on you. They're going to go ahead and talk at your speed, go about what they want, what you want to go about. If you're ready to talk about something, that's what's going to drive the session. It's not going to be them telling you what you should do, very much kind of like the clubhouse and fitness. Um, a job of a coach is not to tell you what to do. It's to help you understand what works for you. And that's the same thing with mental health and counseling. You're going to learn what works for you, what you need at that moment. And that can vary week to week if you're seeing a counselor each week, or you could be building on something. You want to see someone who makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to say this, and this is really hard for a lot of us, especially myself. Um, but if you don't like a therapist, if they're not clicking with you in the first 1, 2, maybe 3 max sessions, it is okay to tell them. And they're used to being told, you know what, this just is not working. I really need to see if I can find somebody else, because you don't want to be spinning your tires with a counselor. You want to be really getting work done. It's hard work to go see a therapist, but it's so worth it if you're seeing someone that's helping you pull out those things that you need to work on. If you're seeing someone that makes you uncomfortable and that you're just like not hitting, maybe they feel judgmental, maybe they're not talking certain ways, maybe they're not using the right kind of theories that would help you. Um, all those kind of things can be happening, but it's going to make it more difficult for you to heal. Um, sorry, therapists, they have positive regard for their clients, which means no matter what you're going through, they're going to be there for you. They're going to, set good boundaries with you. They're going to make sure that, your relationship is professional. They're going to, they won't strangely enough, this might sound strange, but because of HIPAA and everything, if they see you out in the community, they won't say hello to you. You have to say hi to them first. They're not supposed to say hi to you because that's exposing, your privacy. And if you don't want people to know and you're with somebody, so they use good boundaries with you. It's like I said, I already mentioned it. It's okay if it's not the right match. When you're looking for a counselor, they should have a bio that you can actually read. It will tell you the theories that they work from. I'm not going to get into all the theories, but at the end of this presentation, there's a link that has some of the theories in there. I would suggest that you take a look at it if you're interested in getting therapy, kind of figure out what you think might work for you. The therapist that I see does a lot of things with motivational interviewing to get you to kind of lead the conversation and be able to figure out where you want to go with things. He's person centered. So, like I said, it's all about me, not about him, not about his, life too much, mostly about the client. You want to find out what their education is, because obviously you don't want to have someone that's just graduated high school and doesn't know anything and is maybe representing themselves as a counselor when they're not. I don't think that happens too often, but you never know. So make sure that they're aligned with some kind of a organization that shows that they have credentials. Maybe they're registered with a particular organization. And then you want to pick someone that you can connect with. Strangely enough, when I picked my counselor, they gave me a whole book to look at. I was looking at the theories that was important to me because I understand a bit about what that is from school. But I also wanted to kind of maybe find someone that might understand me. So, what do you guys want to guess was the first thing I looked for? They tell you a little bit about what they like, what their hobbies are. And that's usually at the end because it's less important. But my counselor happens to love fitness and he likes, doing that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's just something small. It's not as important, but it can help you connect with them. They understand you better when you've gone through some of the same things. My counselor also, I found out later, wasn't in the bio, but he told me, he's like, yeah, I used to work in corporate America for years. And I went back to get my degree when I was 45 years old. Or maybe I think it was 42, actually. I'm 45. So I was kind of like, wow, that's kind of cool because, man, here I am at 45 in the middle of my master's program. And he's kind of an example. I'm like, okay, now I get it. And I get that I can do that. He's also someone who like encourages me, and he's like, don't let your mental illness define you. And maybe you don't even have that or this, or maybe it was misdiagnosis, possibly. Don't think about that. Just go and attack life and get into the things that you're interested about. And he's really great with those kind of things. It's very helpful. I'll talk a little bit about some of the negative things a therapist, negative things that I see in therapy, or not therapy, but the therapist.
Yeah, and to kind of add something to what you said,
Sure.
like that I experienced too, is like I was referred to a therapist by a friend, and my friend had been seeing this therapist for like 2 or 3 years, loved her, raved about her. And I went to see her, and there was no connection. Like I didn't enjoy the sessions at all. And I spent a lot of time with this woman because I thought it was like my problem. I'm like, this woman's a great therapist. Why isn't this working? Like, my friend loves her so much. She helped her so much. So you're really not going to connect with every person. So don't think like you're doing something wrong. I think it took
Right.
me, it was my fourth person that I went to that I finally connected with. So it's not like a you problem if that's happening. So just wanted to add that in also, kind of like exactly what Nicole said there.
I absolutely love that. It is not a you problem at all. It's just you don't connect. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means you don't connect. I'll tell you a little bit about some of my experiences, my negative experience with therapists. Now, it doesn't make them a bad therapist. It just wasn't for me. The first therapist I saw, I was actually in high school. I had a lot of mental health struggles back then with depression and whatnot. Um, And what happened is the first therapist I saw, she was an older lady. I felt like I kind of connected with her because of the fact that I've always had like this interest and love for the elderly population. I know that might sound, well, it doesn't sound strange. It's something I enjoy. I connect with older people. Um, when I was a kid, my aunt was like probably in her 70s, 80s, and I loved just talking to her. And I was always geared towards older people. I would go and talk to them, whatever. So this counselor was older, and I was like in the sessions, and being 15, I had no clue what to expect from a counselor. She spent almost the whole session talking about her stories, self disclosing, telling me all these things. Now, it's okay for a counselor to self disclose, but it should only be for your benefit, not for the benefit of anything else. Not for them to feel good, not for them to get things off their chest. It should be for something that you need. Um, she she self-disclosed almost the whole session, and it almost was really just a friendship, a conversation. It wasn't her helping me really with anything. I did then compared to my counselor now, he very rarely shares something unless he notices that it's like going to help me. um Him telling me about the fact that he is 45 or 40 whatever and went back to school and got his degree, that's helpful to me because that's where I'm at. He once told me about his mom because I was talking about how frustrating it is that my mom will fall or do this or that and not seek help, and she won't use a walker. So he briefly said, yeah, my mom won't get a walker either. It's really frustrating. But it's just to like establish that I feel you, I understand you, but it's not to spend the session on it. um I also had another counselor after I went through some mental health struggles. And I think it was like after my divorce from my first husband. And what happened with that one is they were in school, they were in their PhD program. Probably will be a great counselor someday, but they literally said nothing to me through the whole session, and it was an hour long, except uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh, yeah. So I really never got like any, like, they listened to me. I got to vent. That was great, but I didn't get any understanding of what was going on inside me because they never like said, asked me questions. And my counselor now will ask me questions, and it won't be like judgmental questions. It will be like, what do you think about that? And how did that play a role in your life? So that's been really helpful. The questions he asks are to promote self discovery, to help me understand more about myself, more about how those little traumas affected me all these years. I also had a bigger trauma at one point, but not anything like some people. But, he helped me understand that that was a big trauma when I was like, wait a minute, no, it's not. Because I had spent my whole life saying that, what, it was my fault. So, or whatever. So yeah, it's important for them to help you figure out those things, but it's not prodding, it's not going where you don't want to go. He often will say, are you, if you're not comfortable, let's not go there yet. You're not ready. He and the therapist should not be judgmental. If they're giving you opinions and being judgmental, and they're letting their biases get through and they're not recognizing those things, then you probably don't have a very good therapist, to be honest with you, because one of the things we learn in school is that we're supposed to recognize our biases, and we're supposed to not let them get through into the client's relationship with us, not judge them for that. Maybe the therapist has a different religion than you, but they're supposed to accept what you have is helpful to you in your growth. Not like be like, oh no, I'm this religion and you're wrong or whatever. They're not judgmental. They don't give opinions about different things. They're not going to tell you what you should do. They're not going to be like they might give you homework to do. They might give you ideas on what you can do, when you get home, for instance. Like my therapist had me make a list of every single thing I could possibly think of in my life that I have felt good about, that I've thought, okay, wait a minute, that's good. That's something I did awesome. That's something, maybe other people haven't done or whatever. That's homework. But he wasn't sitting there telling me what I should do, being like, you need to go ahead and work out every day. That's not something they'd tell you. They'd give you ideas and say, if you want to do this, this might be helpful. Um, and again, recognizing those biases and checking them at the door is hugely important, because that will just get, it becomes their session when they're telling you what their beliefs are. And it takes it away, it takes the power out of your hands, really, to learn and grow.
It almost puts
Um,
you in the therapist seat to where you're doing the listening and the tables are a bit turned. So that makes
it,
total sense.
yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, and that's just not helpful at all. Unless you want to be a therapist, then no, just, I don't think it's helpful. So, um, but therapy can absolutely help you build self-confidence. It's understanding the way you think. A lot of it is. A lot of the way we feel, and by actually all the way we feel is the way we think inside. It gives you a better understanding of yourself, and it helps you evaluate those thoughts and understand how they can be affecting your feelings. For instance, the one thing I'll share with you guys is, yes, the clubhouse helped me build amazing confidence, but because I had underlying issues, I wasn't able to constantly, pull myself back to that place, because what was happening is negative thoughts would come into my head. Um, One of my downward spirals, and this is just kind of crazy when I think about it because it's so silly, but one of my downward spirals was actually missing the retreat last year. I missed it because of the fact that I got COVID. And the funny thing is, I saw everyone, I'm trying not to get emotional during this because it's still raw, but I saw everybody posting these great videos of friendships and how they really enjoyed each other and spending great time. And I didn't just get FOMO, I literally told myself, you don't belong. And that's so not true, but it took me to go through therapy to realize that I have spent my entire life telling myself, maybe from the trauma when I was a kid, I don't know, but I've been telling myself, you don't belong, you're not good enough. So therapy really helps you evaluate those thoughts, understand how they can be affecting your feelings. Because what happens is you think something and then you feel something. And it's, important to make sure that you recognize that you embrace positivity. You're going to go ahead and, through therapy, hopefully you'll be able to change some of the thoughts. Some of that's through what we call cognitive behavioral therapy. It's about changing the way you think so that you can feel better about yourself and better about your life. And you just, once you get to that place, you can just charge straight ahead into enjoying life and enjoying every day. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to have bad days here or there. I mean, that's just being human. We're all going to have moments like that, but we don't want to be negative 24/7. We want to try to get out of that so that we can have a great life and embrace all the positivity that you are, that I am, that everybody is, because we all work kind of on a spectrum in my mind. Um, how do I explain it? There's everybody in this world has good and everybody in this world has bad, but it's, you're not good or bad, you have good or bad actions. So what I'm saying by that is, maybe you make a mistake, and just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that's who you are. Okay, we all make mistakes, we all do things, that are not necessarily great. you know Maybe one of my mistakes was I got married when I was 17 years old to someone 10 years older than me. But I learned and I grew from that, and I divorced him and I moved on. But the thing of it is we all have good in us. We have to remember that. We have to recognize our strengths, and we have to recognize what is good about all of us. Because I guarantee you, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done in your life, there's good in you. Um, so therapy can encourage you to give yourself credit. And every single one of you on this call absolutely deserves credit for things you have done in your life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Building confidence outside of therapy. We kind of talked a little bit about this already, but I told Eric I do some one-on-one counseling with him right now, and I told him, I said, this last half of this year is going to be about me leaning into my heart. I'm going to do the things that scare me. Guys, I'm here and this scares the crap out of me to be talking in front of you all. I am totally not someone who, um, you know, like public speaking is scary for me. I've like groups at work and that doesn't scare me. I've kind of got used to some of that, but all you all, man, I'm like, I hope I don't mess up. But I think thanks guys. I think when you are doing something and speaking about something you enjoy, obviously you're gonna, you know, do a lot better than something that you have no interest in. But anyhow, that's outside the point. So we want to get out of our comfort zone. Um, that means, go ahead and take challenges. My first thing, honestly, is I hate Bulgarian split squats. I don't know about the rest of you. I freaking hate those things. And then Eric had the audacity to put 1.5 split squats into my workouts. I have one side that is horribly unbalanced with the other. And it's been so difficult for me because at first I was using my good side first and then the bad side. And finally I learned to do the bad side first so that you can match that. But anyhow, it was so like interesting. And I told him, I said, I'm glad you put 1.5s in because I was literally going to ask you the day before my program was supposed to come out if you could do that because I want to lean into that hard. I hate them, but that's how I've become a stronger person in fitness and in life. My father actually told me, oh, let's see, when I was in my bachelor's psychology program, I don't know if any of you have had to take statistics, but it is an absolutely ridiculously hard class for me. I could not stand it. I was like, this is so hard. And I told him, I said, I never want to take this class again. And he said to me, he said, you know what? That is the 100% reason why you need to take another statistics class. Because when you lean into your heart and you're able to do something that you didn't think you could do, you're going to go ahead and you're going to feel just super amazing about yourself. Whether that's posting form videos or speaking in public or diving off a diving board, whatever you want to do to try something new and step out of your comfort zone. I mean, man, you got to learn something new. I would challenge every single one of you to pick something big or small. I don't care, anything that's new, and just go at it and try it. And focus on those things you struggle with because that is 120% how you're going to build confidence. If you shy away from those things, it's just going to get so much more difficult for you to do those things. Another story is when I was a kid, my grandpa was a huge bowler. In fact, my mom's side of the family is ridiculously great at bowling. My uncle has gotten 300 games. I don't have any clue how. That's a perfect game if you don't bowl. And he and my grandpa said to me, I must have been like 10 years old. And both my dad's stories and my grandpa's stories I didn't get until recently, but my grandpa told me, I said, man, I can't even get 100. I suck at bowling. And he said, no, you don't. He said, the reason you're struggling with it is because you don't do it. You don't practice. We don't get better at the things that are hard unless we practice them. I don't know if there's any Pearl Jam fans out there, but Eddie Vedder in one of his intros to a song, I don't even remember which one it is, but he says, a friend once told me, paint 100 paintings and then see if you're good. So we got to jump in there and do those hard things and then see if we're good. You can't say, no, you're bad at drawing because you draw a stick figure every year. You got to really try it, to practice that skill. Everything in life is a skill. And if you don't practice it, you're not going to build confidence to do those kind of things that you find interesting. You also want to set achievable goals. Don't start with 10,000 steps if you're walking 2,000, and I'm sure you guys have heard that a million times in the clubhouse. Eric says it. I'm sure Mary said it. Gradually increase that. Set small, achievable goals. Get to 3,000 steps one week. I see, not to call her out, but I see Erica working so hard in the clubhouse, and she's just moving her steps up a little bit at a time. But man, those are goals she can achieve, and that's so awesome. I'm so proud of her. Because sometimes we do have to work backwards. We have to go back to taking baby steps in our nutrition and fitness plan, and that's fine as long as you keep moving ahead. You're definitely going to build confidence by doing that. Lastly, keep the promises you make to yourself. If you say that you are going to stick to your nutrition for the week, do your very best to stick to that nutrition, because guess what? When you make it through the week and you have a whole week full of X's, you're going to be like, holy crap, I can do this. When you get your 4 workouts in every week, you're going to be like, wow, I had no idea how good I would feel until I got those 4 workouts in. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm sure the coaches have told you this, but there are times when you do not want to get your, ass out of bed in the morning to work out. I've been there. I'm sure I can't imagine. I would assume even Mary's been there at some point or another. I never think that because I was always crushing it, but we've all been through moments like that. You have struggles in your life. Someone you love passes away, or it's hard to get up and push through those moments. But when you do, when you keep promises to yourself, you are going to feel absolutely amazing, and you're going to be so proud of yourself. No matter how big or little they are, remember that they're all wins whenever you keep a promise to yourself. One day, one moment at a time, you'll get there.
Yeah, and I love this, Nicole, because like everything on this list can be achieved right here in the clubhouse. It can be achieved as part of your health and fitness journey. So it just goes to show how, mental health and your physical health really do align so much, because everything on this list you could achieve, with a monthly program, with what your fitness goals are. And I love especially the one about learning something new. And like everyone on this call, like I want you to think, or listening back, I want you to think, like, what are you going to learn? What are you going to try? What are you going to do that's new, that's going to push you out of your comfort zone? And like share it with us, share in the group. Like I'm going to follow up with some of you about this. Like I want to hear like what you're going to try, because I think that's such a powerful thing, because there's nothing that boosts you up more or makes you feel more confident than doing something that scares you and doing something you've never done before, especially as we get older, because the older we get, it seems like the fewer new things we do. So I love that item on that list in particular.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind doing that too, checking in on people. So if you can get me a list by any chance of everyone who's in here, because I can't really see it at the moment, I'd be more than happy to reach out and say, how's it going? What have you done this week and over the next couple weeks, to see what they've done to grow?
I will get you that list. We're coming for you. So watch out. Yeah,
We
I'll get you
are,
that list.
absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
Um, so totally lean into your hard things. Um, I did put, some resources for you guys to check out in the, oh, I forgot that one. Sorry about that. Yeah, lean into your hard, do the difficult things. The only way to get better is through practice. Pretty much I covered all that. And stop running away from hard things. That's another story I could tell you guys. I got plenty of stories. We could go all night, but I won't keep you all night. Um, one of the things that I noticed through therapy is that I have a tendency to run away from everything that's hard, which is one of the reasons I'm pushing in the clubhouse this 6 months and hopefully for the rest of my life to do the things that are difficult. Um, I dropped out of school when I was 16. I went back, obviously. Let's see what else. Almost every job I've had, I've quit with just be getting emotional, struggling. I've been like, I'm out of here, peace, I'm done. It's taken a lot usually to get to that point, but once again, I think it's the negative thoughts that were in my head that pushed me and made me run away from those hard things because I was feeling such strong feelings. Realize that your feelings are absolutely valid, but there's a way to cope with things and you don't have to necessarily run away from them. Therapy can definitely help with that. I definitely recommend it. It can help you learn why you do the things you do. For me, that's helped me to, stop wanting to run away from those hard things.
Awesome.
So here's some resources for you guys if and related to mental health mostly. If you have, there's National Alliance of Mental Illness, and that's for everything. You don't have to be mentally ill, guys, I should say, to see a counselor. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're struggling, that is totally something that I would encourage everyone to do because we all have struggles with different things and they're there to help you. This website hopefully can give you some resources in regards to that or groups that you could attend where other people are experiencing similar things. The other link I mentioned earlier is for counseling theories and that kind of thing. I back in one of the last things I'll talk to you about is back in, let's see, February. I got this tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of hard, probably coming up backwards there, but it says sweetness and grit, and it's got a barbell between it. I originally got the tattoo because of the fact that I am a Chicago Bears fan at heart. I don't know if there's any of you guys in there. Maybe you're not, but man, and I was a huge fan of Walter Payton. He's kind of my guy. When I was a kid, I would sit on my dad's lap and watch him kick major gridiron ass. um, but it became a thing. My dad always used to say, "You used to say Walter Payton when you were like 2 years old." So this is kind of my guy. Unfortunately, he passed away years ago, but I still, he's kind of one of my football idols, so to speak. Um, but anyhow, sweetness and grit. What I want to explain to you about that is now it kind of actually means something different. I think of sweetness as in pay it forward, take care of others, help others, do whatever you can in life to help them. But at the same time, remember that one of the most important things is to love yourself, to be sweet to yourself, to take care of yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to fully help other people. And that goes for your family, your kids, your job. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And for me, that happened to be going to counseling. The other thing is grit. And I say, I think a grit now is it's about working hard, not taking the easy way out, guys. We got to work hard and do the things that are hard for us, and we got to lean into that hard. So that's kind of why I got that tattoo. But sweetness and grit is the way that it should be. Work hard and love yourself and lean into things that are hard for you. I definitely encourage you guys to be absolutely open to finding a therapist. It can change your life and make life a lot easier, more enjoyable for you.
And we did have a question from, I saw from Bailey in the chat, if
Sure.
you're able to request a male or female therapist. Or
You
should
are
you be able to? Mhm.
you are absolutely able to request male or female. In fact, they really shouldn't be just setting you up with someone. You should be able to look in a book and find out all information about them or talk to a receptionist, get information about them, and you make that choice. You make the choice into who you're interested in trying out. And again, if it doesn't work, please be like, sorry, I'm done. But you know, they totally understand that. In fact, I'll be honest with you, not only do I see my counselor, but one of my best friends who actually got me into fitness in the first place. She got me working out in December 2021, and I've been working out regularly almost every single week since, except for a few blips, which I think is pretty normal. But because I keep going back to it, but she was actually my boss at the job that I just left. At one point, she was my boss for like 2 years, and after she left, we became like best friends. She went from being like the program director at my job to being a counselor herself. And I asked her when I was going to go see a counselor, for the first time in years again, I said to her, I said, I'm really anxious. What if I don't like this person? What if I don't connect with this person? And she said, please tell them that. Let them know, and they'll release you to go try to find someone else that is better suited for you.
Love it.
So, and she also said that she would probably pick a woman. She was surprised I picked a guy. So, that's totally something that you get a choice in.
Awesome. And KG is wondering, what about gauging prices? Is paying more for a therapist always result in better service? Do you depend on a lot of reviews? Like, should you be looking at reviews?
I definitely don't think that can hurt to look at reviews, but just keep in mind that it's like got to be a personal kind of uh, personal and professional. Personal as in you feel comfortable with the person. I wouldn't necessarily go with someone, I wouldn't necessarily say because they're asking more that means they're better. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, it could, but it's really going to be kind of a test out and see how it goes. Just like Mary said, her friend said that this person was awesome and it didn't work out for her. So, it's kind of an individual thing for sure. And as for prices, make sure you guys check with your insurance too, because most of the time, if you have halfway decent insurance, they, pretty much help you get therapy. My therapist, I mean, it still could be a lot of money for some people, but for me, it's important because I have to prioritize my mental health. But it's like $50 is my copay, and that's all I pay.
Mhm.
So I don't have anything in addition to that. And with that said, I would also say that if you're going to go to a therapist, it's not necessarily something you have to do every week. You can start out every week until you get to a point where you're doing better, feeling better about yourself. And you can cut that to twice a month and then eventually to once a month. I would recommend going at least once a month just so that if anything does come up, you can go ahead and catch it before it gets out of control. No problem, KG. Anytime if you guys ever have any questions, you're always welcome to PM me. That's part of the reason I love the clubhouse is I thrive on helping other people no matter what it is. If I have knowledge, I'm going to definitely try to help. Even if, I don't have knowledge, I'll try to point you in the right direction. So you're always welcome to come to me with anything and I'll do my best to help.
Thank you, Nicole. Just lots of love for you in the chat. Everyone has just said raving reviews of everything you've said. So thank you. And, I think a big theme here is, you've, and Nicole will probably be able to expand on this a little. We've all heard like exercise is therapy. We've seen that maybe on social media. And I think it's important to know like exercise can be therapeutic, but it's okay to need talk therapy and need additional support in other ways on your journey also. And that's kind of what we wanted you to get out of this tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's what I would say too is it's kind of funny. I had mental health issues like 7, 8 years ago. They went away pretty much after I got back surgery and started working on myself and started joining the clubhouse and doing fitness. And then out of the blue, because I had unresolved issues, they just popped back up. So it's, really important to, realize that, it is okay to seek help. It's okay to get counseling. And um, yeah, we want to be and like the fitness journey and the nutrition, all of that goes into a well-rounded, becoming a well-rounded person and really understanding yourself and being able to live your best life. So I would definitely suggest, if you need the extra help, go ahead and do that. And, you know, but yeah, fitness though, man, that can really change the way you live. And I recommend if you're seeing a counselor, keep up with that fitness because like, dude, it honestly changed my life. That's what was the start to me understanding myself and mental health was, fitness helped build that confidence, helped me feel really good about myself. And then going through counseling when I realized that unfortunately I'm one of those people who fitness is fabulous. It's definitely something I need to do because let me tell you, I feel better on the days I work out. As you can see, I probably work out too much, but I enjoy it. And honestly, the days I work out, man, damn, I feel good. So, I totally encourage you guys to at least go for a walk every day if you're not going to, be able to do anything else. that's just a walk is great. Go ahead and do that. Make you feel great, can help your mental health tremendously.
So true. Yeah, so thank you so much for this, Nicole. I know I enjoyed it so much and I know everyone else did too. So anyone has anything, please let us know, follow up with us again in the group. You know how to find us. Nicole is posted in there, very active, and we will be checking back in with you about what you're going to do to challenge yourself with something new in the coming days.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys all for attending. You have no idea how much that helped my confidence. I was actually a little nervous that no one would show up. So, and especially since I know myself, it's sometimes hard when I get up at 2:45, 3 in the morning to be up this late. So
Good
I
job.
really appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate all your kind comments in the chat. It means so much to me. You have no idea.
Well, we appreciate you too. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a really good evening.
Thank you guys. You too.
Bye-bye.